On today's episode of the Experiment Zone podcast, I speak with Tee Forton-Barnes. We're talking about her brand Water Buffalo Club 716.com. They are both a club of Buffalo Bills fans and also have a very fun hat that fans can wear to games. We talk about some of the seasonality that impacts her business, as well as some challenges around getting people to know and find the brand. And then we identify some opportunities for improving conversion on her website. We're going to talk about how to introduce the brand and the product up front on her site, and also find some ways to make sure folks can clearly understand that this is a really loved product. Let's jump in. Thanks so much for being on today. Can you tell us a little bit about your business?
Yes. So my business is called the Water Buffalo Club 716.com. And we are a group of fans of Buffalo sports teams, but primarily Buffalo Bills. And I started it about 4 years ago, and it has just grown into a much bigger conglomerate. And that I started out with just one blue hat, and now we have a whole array of different merchandise, let alone 19 different varieties of hats that people can order online.
Nice. What brought you to working on in that space? Like, was there a specific problem you saw or an opportunity that brought you there?
Not really, because it was just something that I have always been a Bills fan. I've always been a football fan. It was something that I created about 4 years ago out of the blue when the Bills went to their first playoff game in 17 years. And it was just something that I did on a whim, and it kind of fell in my lap. And not to say that it took a lot of hard work, a lot of energy, but it was something I'm very passionate about and having so much fun with it too. So it was easy for me. It sort of is my social side calendar thing that I've always done since I was a little kid, going to Bills games, tailgating. But now this has created a whole new realm of fandom at Bills games.
We'd love to take a look at the hat. Tell me a little bit about it.
So they come in a whole array of colors. You get to pick what color you want, what color horns. This is the Grand Poobah, because I'm the Grand Poobah. If anybody watches the Flintstones, there's always a Grand Poobah. So this is one of my Grand Poobah hats. But then when I want to wear white, this is my other Grand Poobah hat. So there's all different colors. This is something in Buffalo we celebrate Dingus Day, which is part of the end of. This is a Polish hat. We just came out with an Italian hat. We have a German hat, a Irish hat. We have camo hat. We have a breast cancer awareness hat. So it started with this hat, the blue hat, that everybody knows as Fred Flintstone and Barney Rubble's Lodge hat. So this is the business that I run here in Buffalo. It's also a club, but it's taken off. And honestly, I am now working with fans of the Philadelphia Eagles and the Chicago Bears, because I have an Eagles hat and I have a Bears hat. So, but really, for the sake of today, we'll just talk about Buffalo. Do you want me to keep the hat on for our interview, or are you going to laugh too much?
I think you should keep it on.
I love it on, so it's fine.
I'm from Cleveland, so neighbors, sports-wise and physically. And I don't live there anymore, but I understand the devotion that you're talking about when your team finally does something really exciting. Everyone's all in and really excited to celebrate.
Yeah, listen, I sat at tailgates when there was 5 of us in the parking lot for a home opener, maybe not a home opener, but, throughout the past 18 years when nobody was around to tailgate and celebrate. We stuck it out, and here we are. So I feel like we deserve the credit for what we created that is really creating quite a buzz amongst Buffalo Bills fans around the world. We have fans in our club from Mexico, Australia, Germany, Ireland. The list goes on. So it's been fun.
I love that. Um, let's move a little bit into the store you have. So in order to get the products out, you have an online store. So tell me a little bit
Yes.
about maybe the things that are working well and maybe some challenges you have with running an e-commerce company for this.
Yeah, so when I first started out, I was told I needed to do Shopify, which I do. So
Mhm.
that's really the platform that I use to sell all of our merchandise. Challenges. I am a one-person team.
Mm.
Yes, I have other people that can help me when I need it, but it started if I need to grow into hiring someone, believe me, I would love to hire somebody someday. My challenge is the time frame of selling these hats, of course, is like October to January. I created a lot more merchandise in the past year. So now I have golf club covers that look like this. Um, we have golf balls, we have beach towels. So we have a lot of more merchandise, but really the bulk of the sales come when people are excited about football. Yes, we have hockey hats and yes, we have lacrosse hats, but it's really the football fans that are the diehard uh, customers. My challenge with all that is I am not good at getting the website, the platform, the sales page, whatever, out into the world. Um, because I know there's a lot more fans out there that don't have any idea about this because every time somebody buys it, like, oh my God, I wish I knew about this. I would have bought them for Christmas or whatever. I was in a meeting today with somebody that works for the NFL and she didn't even know about it and she lives in Buffalo. So I know there's a lot more potential. I know that I'm not doing some things properly on the website, SEO, whatever the case may be. I see things on the platform that tell me you need to do these search words, and I don't do those because I don't know really what I'm doing. But so that's where I know that I can improve. Sometimes I take out ads on Facebook or Instagram. I've done it. I don't even know if I'm doing that right. Once in a while, I have somebody help me with those as well. I know you have Meta, and then sometimes I'll just do it on Instagram, and you pay all this money to Apple, and there's all these other confusing things. So I sometimes just sit back and say, okay, I can only do so much, and I'm wasting money doing ads. So those are my struggles, really, with running success. It's been very successful. Those are the challenges I have. I have other challenges now with the new tariffs, but that's something that I have to deal with and figure out a new method. So
Yeah. And I think what you're saying is something probably a lot of our listeners can relate to is a lot of e-commerce brands come from a place of passion. I
mm,
have a problem
for
or an
sure.
opportunity and I want to build a product and get it out to the world. And many people in e-commerce who, especially founders, don't have the experience in digital marketing and have the product side covered. So I'm excited to have you on the show and to
Yeah,
go through your website together. And I hope you can walk away with some good inspiration today. So I'd like to move to that next. Let me go
sure.
ahead and share my screen. All right, so now we have your website up. So this is waterbuffaloclub716.com for those listening along. And I'm going to just go through as a first-time viewer of your site as if I were looking to buy a gift for someone. That's the kind of mental model I'll have here. One of the things I notice is you have this great image on the front with a bunch of people wearing the product. It also looks like we're kind of balancing some needs around the club itself versus shopping. Can you tell me a little bit about the role of the parts of the site around the club?
You mean the tab about the club?
Yeah, what kind of are people coming here to sign up to join the club as well, or is it more just informational?
Informational. So
Great.
telling people who we are, what we are. In order to join the club, you have to either buy a membership or buy a hat, or we have a private Facebook page. Not everybody you don't have to buy something, but you have to be invited into the club by somebody at least. It's really, the website is really to shop.
Great. And it sounds like there is a little bit of like you're joining a club. It is exclusive. Maybe it's not as there. Maybe there's multiple ways into the club,
Mm-hmm.
but I think maybe that's something we can look to bring some information to. Okay, so taking a look at the site here, one of the things I notice is there isn't any text before I scroll. So I do see your logo, which is really cute. It has the hat in it. I see some tabs up at the top, so I'm starting to get some information. I can read in the image, home of the Water Buffalo Club 716, but I don't actually see any direct information about the hat.
What about down
So,
below? Doesn't it say shop now or something?
yeah, when I scroll down,
Okay.
I see it, right? So then I
Okay.
see a shop all. I
Shop
see
all.
Water Buffalo Club 716. I still haven't directly seen the word hat or something about the product. So,
Mm,
just again, sometimes we need to be able to communicate immediately so people don't get confused and,
sure.
exit. So, I'm scrolling, I see some media, I see some names. I mean, some of these images are great. You've got great social proof on here of a whole bunch of people wearing this product. It looks like players and fans and people all over the world and press. So I think one thing you're doing really well is you have the social proof. And one thing we just want to do before we jump to all this really great content is to talk about the product itself or introduce the brand more directly. One of the things I do here, if I were looking at your site from the ground up, would be to add maybe some white text overlay here and just give a direct sense of like what it is. What is this website? Why should I be here? Who is it? The three things I like to ask to have there is what is the website? Who is it for? And why should they care? Or why does this brand matter? So I think really talking about Buffalo directly and fans directly and the hat directly somewhere in text would be a great layering here to
Mm-hmm.
give
Good
people
idea.
confidence that they've landed somewhere that makes sense for them. The other note I have is you mentioned the main purpose of the website is to shop. And one of the things that we've seen over time is that people use the navigation from left to right. So whatever we put
Mm,
on the left side towards the right are what people tend to click on the most. Sometimes we'll see in analytics like someone's clicking something later in the nav, and that usually points that maybe we have it in the wrong place. So because your goal is for people to shop, you might consider putting shop first in
good
your
idea.
navigation. Now, you have hats, apparel, shop everything. You might consider shop all or even shop hats or something very direct in the navigation so that you might have a shop hat
Mm,
section and a shop apparel section or a shop all section. So you can really point people directly to the first product that most of them are there to see. And then you can point them to that broader category if that's applicable for them as well.
yeah, that's good. It's a good suggestion.
And I think the information about the club and the media, I'll probably look into that a little bit as we go, but let's just kind of stick with the route of let's focus on what it's like to find and buy a hat for someone as a gift. So if I scroll down here, I see lots of great information supporting different people. Just like I said, a bunch of members around the world, causes. And then the hats are really, really far down the page. So an opportunity here would be to bring some of the product higher up on the page. We often will have a hero section, like that part at the top that introduces the brand, what it is, who it's for, and then have maybe a handful of images of products like in a single row. I like that you have a lot of product on your homepage. That's great because people can really start to browse right away, but I'd like to see it a little higher up on the page.
Okay.
So I'm going to pick out a hat. I like the classic. I like the call out of the classic in this product name because it makes me feel more confident as a gift giver that this is the one to start with. And maybe I'll pick something else out from here. I'm seeing some pretty typical Shopify information here. I have some options to buy directly or to add to cart here, maybe some other payment options. I'm starting to see a lot of text now. So On the left, I see images, which are drawing me in. I like how you have a lot of variation in like what it looks like, and I can see close-ups and further out photos. But on the right, I'm starting to get a little overwhelmed with how much text is here. So another thing to consider here is where can we reduce the text without losing meaning? And sometimes that means like, could we take some of this and make them into bullet points or, reduce it down and maybe section it out a little bit with a header so that people can say, the out of stock information's pretty long here, but maybe there's just a header that says currently out of stock, back soon, and then the information of how that works or what to expect next. And then scrolling through here, customer reviews. You've got great reviews. Let me take a look to see if I noticed them at the top. I didn't notice your reviews linked at the top. So I'm curious if that's an intentional choice or if you've thought about that.
Nope,
No?
I haven't. I was actually just thinking about that the other day because I'm like, where are my reviews?
Yeah, one of the things that we like to see, what I'd say above the fold, and what I mean by that is before someone starts to scroll on the page, is the name of the product. Typically, the price will be there, the action, which should be the add to cart or the buy now. And then the reviews are also a really good piece of information. And the product image often is in that list as well. And I think looking at the image or like your site right now, we're hitting 3 of the 5, not all 5. So getting the add to cart button or buy now button higher up could be helpful just to kind of remind people what this page is about. They've seen that before, so maybe they'll be more confident that it's a product or shopping page. And then the reviews are typically, across the top, just the stars themselves with the number of how many, and then people can click on it and navigate down on the page. So I think the placement of the details of the reviews are probably a reasonable starting place, but I would just repeat that information at the top with the stars.
Okay.
So looking here, I see the name of the product. I do see in text of the product name, this style is only available in blue. I'm curious why that's in the product name.
No idea. Probably something I did.
I like that it's really direct and clear. I think Shopify does have some features where you could show the product style or choices. If you're getting a lot of colors or a lot of questions about the colors, maybe it is helpful to have it in that bulleted list of things on there.
That's why.
Okay. Now, you do have a lot of other products, so I think it's kind of interesting. There might be some confusion of like, it's only available in this color, but we do have other products. So does this possibly confuse people about what else is available? So it might make sense to take this out of the title and just put it somewhere else in the information for people.
Okay.
As my profession is conversion rate optimization specialist. So I'm always looking for test ideas. And these ones are ideas, not necessarily things that definitely work or definitely don't work. So when we do testing, we're often looking for things that we're uncertain about whether it's helpful or not. So we'll sometimes recommend fixes like what we've been talking about with the title and the button placement. But one of the things that I'm thinking would make for a really interesting test for you would be, does it make sense to promote the pay and installs here or not? And the reason it's a question mark for me is sometimes paying and installations is motivating for people. This is great. I'm buying it as a gift. I know I don't have to have all this on hand right now, and I can pay it off over time. Sometimes it backfires for e-commerce companies because it kind of points out how expensive, quote unquote, the product is by saying it's $16 times 4. So interesting A/B test. It's something that can be very audience dependent on how they respond to that. Overall, though, I think there's some really you've got great product here. Once I got into the product flow, it matches my expectations of checkout. You've got your typical Shopify checkout, which generally converts really well. So, I'm seeing some opportunities for improvement, mostly on the homepage. So with all that being said, I think we're almost at time today. So I have a couple of wrap-up questions for you.
Okay.
Could you tell me where folks listening today can find your business?
waterbuffaloclub716.com, and our social media links are on there as well.
Great. We'll add those to the show notes as well. So take a look for those. And then one of the questions I love to hear from guests at the end is just a reflection on the conversation today. So based on talking today, what are 3 things that you're going to take away for yourself and for your business?
I like the idea of making the shop a little more visible, and I love the idea of making it to the left. Shop all hats, maybe something like that to make it a little bit more literate for people. It's a good time of year for me to go through the website and do some of these kind of maintenance things, cleaning up some of the things that you suggested, making it a little bit more. I'm so close to it, so getting these suggestions from you is so helpful. I'm right on top of it every day, so it's hard for me. My testimonials. I know I have great testimonials, and I don't even know where they find them, to tell you the truth. So putting a tab up there would be the third thing.
Great. Yeah, I mean, what I took away from today was that you've got a great fan base. You've built a really fun product for them. And not only is it a product, but it's a community. So
Right.
I think there's a challenge in conveying all of that through your website and through your digital channels. But in a way, your imagery and the existence of the community conveys a lot of that as well. So I'm hoping that some of the notes that we have from today will help people who come to the site for the first time better understand this great product and community you've built. So thank you so much for being on and sharing your 4-year journey to get to where you are today. And we wish you much success moving forward.
AJ, thanks so much, and thanks for having me.
Thank you for tuning in to the Experiment Zone podcast. You can check out more episodes on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, and your favorite podcast apps. Check out the show notes for any websites linked in this episode, including where to connect with us on social media. We appreciate you tuning in. Remember to like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you'll be updated of each episode release. And visit us at experimentzone.com for all podcast updates as well. Appreciate you dropping by.